Good morning, good morning, good morning to you. Good morning, how do you do? Good morning, marmots. Can you say good morning, Bobby? Good morning, coyotes. I'm so glad to see you. I really couldn't wait. Can you tap your heads and count to 8 with me? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm so glad to see you. I really couldn't wait. Can you tap your shoulders and count to 8? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes. Well, I'm so glad to see you. And today we're going to talk about Australia and all the animals that live in Australia. Yes, and we're going to do that through. Now, Australia is very far away, and it is an island and a country all by itself, surrounded by water. And it's very far away and has some very interesting and different animals that we don't have here. So it's called Wombat Stew. So wombat is an animal that we don't have here. And here's the wombat. Can you see him? And this is a platypus. And this is an emu. Now, you know all the books that I read to you are singing books. So we're going to sing. Yes? So here it is. One day on the banks of a billabong, and a billabong is a river. It's another name for a river. A very clever dingo, this is a dingo, looks like a dog, caught a wombat and put him in a big kettle and decided to make, here's the wombat, he's very excited, wombat stew, wombat stew. Gooey, brewy, yummy, chewy, wombat stew. Platypus, here's the platypus, came ambling up the bank. Good day, dingo, he said, snapping his bill. He's got this big bill and big feet and a big tail. What is all that water for? I'm brewing up a gooey, chewy stew with that fat wombat, replied Dingo with a toothy grin. Well, if you ask me, said Platypus, the best thing for a gooey stew is mud. Big blops of billabong mud. Blops of mud? Dingo laughed. What a good idea. Righto, in they go. So Platypus scooped up big blops of mud with his tail and tipped them into the billy can. Around the bubbling billy, Dingo danced and sang. Sing with me if you can. Wombat stew, wombat stew, gooey, brewy, yummy, chewy, wombat stew. Waltzing out of the shade of the ironbarks, that's a kind of tree in Australia, came Emu. She arched her graceful neck over the brew. Oh no, Dingo, she fluttered. What have we here? Oh, gooey, chewy wombat stew, boasted Dingo. Well, if only it were a bit more chewy, she sighed. But don't worry, a few feathers will set it right. Feathers? Dingo smiled. That would be chewy. Righto, in they go. So into the gooey brew, Emu dropped his finest feathers. Around and around and around the bubbling billy, the dingo danced and sang. This is a new verse. Wombat stew, you can sing that with me. Wombat stew, crunchy munchy for my lunchy, wombat stew. He's very excited about his stew. Old blue-tongued lizard came sliding off his sun-stoked stone. Silly Dingo, he hissed. There are no flies in the stew. Can't be Wombat Stew without crunchy flies in it. And he stuck out his bright blue tongue. There's a lot to be said for flies, agreed Dingo, rubbing his paws together. Righto, in they go. So Lizard snapped 100 flies from the air with his long tongue and flipped them into the gooey chewy stew. Around and around the bubbling billy, Dingo danced and sang. This is the second verse. Wombat stew, sing Wombat stew. Crunchy munchy for my lunchy wombat stew. Up through the red dust, here's an interesting animal called the echidna. Wait a bit, not so fast, he bristled, shaking the red dust from his quills. He has all these cool quills. Now I've been listening to all this advice, and take it from me. For a munchy stew, you need slugs and bugs and creepy crawlies. Dingo wagged his tail. Well, I should have thought of that, he said. Righto, in they go. So Echidna dug up all sorts of creepy crawlies and dropped them into the gooey, crunchy, munchy stew. The very clever Dingo stirred and stirred, all the while singing, Wombat stew, wombat stew, hot and spicy, oh so nicey, wombat stew. Just then, sleepy-eyed Koala, the koala bear, climbed down the scribbly gum tree. Look here, he yawned. Any bush cook knows you can't make a spicy stew without gum nuts. Leave it to a koala to think of gum nuts, Dingo laughed and licked his whiskers. Righto, in they go, and into the gooey, chewy, crunchy, munchy stew, Koala shook lots and lots of gum nuts. Aha! Now my stew is missing only one thing, said Dingo. What's that? Asked the animals. That fat wombat. Wait, stop, hang on, Dingo. You can't put the wombat into the stew yet, said all the animals. Why not? You haven't tasted it yet, they said. Righto, I'll taste it. And with that very clever Dingo bent over the billy and took a great big slurp of stew. Ah! You can imagine what it tastes like with mud and creepy crawlies and feathers. I'm poisoned, he howled. You've all tricked me. And he dashed away deep into the bush, never to sing again. Sing with me the first verse. Wombat stew, wombat stew, gooey, brewy, yummy, chewy, wombat stew. The end. So maybe if your parents feel like it, you could look up all these cool animals. The platypus, the echidna, the blue-tongued lizard, the koala, what else was in there? The dingo and the platypus and the wombat, because they're very cool animals. Well, that's all for today. We'll say goodbye, this day is done. You're so awesome. We'll say goodbye now, everyone. We'll say goodbye, this song will tell. You make music very well. I miss you. I can't wait till we can see each other again. Be healthy. Love you. Bye-bye, marmots. Bye-bye, coyotes. Love you.